Hello, this is Matt Barbie with Time for Success Business Owner Moms Edition, and this is the show where we examine what does success mean to business owners who are also family moms and dads, and how do they achieve that? And this is Matt Barbie, your host, and I work with business owners to help them to create the types of businesses that give them the lives that they and their families dream of. Today we have our wonderful guest, Ellie Wharton with Radio63119, which is this radio station. Say hello, Ellie.
Hello. Do I get to wave? Hello.
Yeah, wave to the Facebook
okay,
lane.
Here's my
right,
wave.
Brave wave. There it is. Good. Yeah. So yeah.
Good. Oh, I didn't look fat on that.
You know? No, absolutely not. No. Facebook Live like slims you by 10 pounds. Not that you need it.
Okay. Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
I do.
No.
But
all right. Well, so thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thanks for having me. I am so excited. When you sent me that text, I was just like, "Wow, I get to be on the show."
Yeah. Well, you've definitely helped a lot of people with the radio station here, and I know that you have a business show as well. It's very popular in the community, so I think it's a supernatural fit. Well, not supernatural, but a super natural fit.
That's right.
Not paranormal.
Right, like
right.
the other guy that you
Right.
bring
Yeah,
on.
right.
See, I am listening.
Right. Exactly. So Ellie, tell everybody a little bit more about you and what you do.
Well, my background is radio and television.
Yeah.
From the time I was in first grade, my teachers used to say to me, honey, you are so social. And that was the way of saying you talk a lot. But they used that for my benefit and for the benefit of the school that I came through, and they made me the MC of all of the school shows.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, so from the time I was in first grade, I was always the MC of the show.
Wow.
And that really helped me to develop confidence. It helped me to develop my skills, and it was just a natural fit. And they always told me, when you grow up, you're going to go into television. You're going to go into broadcasting. It was like, okay. So when I got into high school in 11th grade, and they call you in, well, what do you want to do when you grow up? I'm going into broadcasting.
Absolutely.
And that's what I've always done. And when I came, even when I've lived out of the country, I still worked in radio in Belize and in Panama, and then came back here after 5 years of living overseas. My husband was ill with cancer at the time. We found out that there was the opening for the third-class FCC licensed low-power radio station here in this area.
Wow.
And we applied for it. And so
Wow.
for 4 years, we worked with people, raising the money, getting the license, and putting it all together. And unfortunately, he passed away a year before we went on the air. But
wow.
you know that you come in the door, you get to see his picture, he's smiling and waving, and he's glad that everybody is enjoying this great medium.
Yeah, absolutely. He's smiling down from heaven.
He is absolutely smiling, because every week and every day, he sees people just like yourself be able to come in and to do what you do to help improve the lives of people within our community. I think about Chris, and how when Chris came here, he does such a wonderful job with us. And again, I just barely pay him, but he's a happy camper. He comes in, he does the work. And you know what? It's for the love of community radio that people come and do this.
Absolutely. Well, the love of community radio and the love of the community, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, to empower the community, to get them the information that they need. And, so I really enjoy it. I mean, the Webster Groves community around here has been great as well. So it's fantastic. So what, you said that you guys had to apply for the license, and it took a while. What does that journey look like?
Well, when we found out that there was the opening, we really only had about 6 months to pull it all together.
Wow.
So we had to find a nonprofit
Wow.
who would house it, because that was one of the stipulations. It had to be a 501c3, but it couldn't be a church. It could be a school, it could be a ministries, it could be whatever, but it couldn't be a church.
Okay.
Then we had to convince people that this is something that they wanted to house. So, that's a difficult thing too, because you're going to other boards. Boards don't meet but once a month. They have to think about it. They have to sleep on it. They have to, pray on it. They have to do all those things. And we had to put together a proposal, because the FCC has an application form, and they're asking you all types of questions that you really don't know in advance. Where are you going to put your tower?
Right.
Where's your studio going to be? But you got to kind of make all this stuff up.
Right.
And then you had to apply by a certain date. Wouldn't you know that that was a year that we had a government shutdown?
No
Right
kidding.
at the time that the deadline was
my
approaching, which gave us a couple of extra weeks. The deadline, the government shutdown only happened for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
But it gave us a few extra weeks to get all of our paperwork together. You have to send it off to the FCC in Washington. And then you wait for a year.
A year?
You just sit around twiddling your thumbs. People are asking you every time they see you out in public, so what's happening with the radio station? What's happening with the radio station? You know, and you say, well, we're waiting to hear from the FCC. You don't know because you don't know who else has applied.
Right.
So there were 6 other entities in this area, not just here in Webster, but in the whole St. Louis region. They also applied.
Wow.
So they had to go through, and one by one they got eliminated until it came down to us. As I say, we were the last man standing.
Wow.
And then only then could we begin to do fundraising.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so
So
all
you can't
that time,
even do...
nope,
Wow.
no need to go out and do fundraising, because if you don't have a station, if you don't have a license,
There's nothing to fundraise
to fundraise for.
Wow.
So then the next year was spent fundraising.
Okay. So is there like a certain amount of time that they give you to be able to even get the radio station up and
you
going?
have 3 years.
Okay, so at least 3 years. Okay, that's a decent amount of time to do some fundraising.
But a lot of people don't, because, no, it's not just fundraising. Within that 3-year period, you have to not only raise the money, you have to build the station, and you have to be on the air.
Yeah.
So that means that you also have to have production, content.
Yeah.
You have to have people trained on equipment.
Yeah.
You have to have the studio built, the tower in place. All those things have to be in place at the end of 3 years. We got on the air 1 week prior to our 3-year deadline.
1 week prior.
We came on during the Christmas season. Can you imagine that? I mean,
Cut it close. Yeah.
But we had content, because you can't just come on and say, well, now I'm just going to talk for the next 24 hours. You
Right,
know?
right,
Can't
yeah.
do it like that.
Yeah.
But thank goodness we had people, because I had been talking to people through the Chamber of Commerce. There were people who were ready to go when they, when people would say, well, how many people do you have listening? And I would have to look at them and say, you, me. But there were producers who said, you know what, we believe in this and we will support it. And they pay us just a little bit of money every week to be on the air.
Yeah.
It basically covers production. It helps us keep the internet and the lights on.
That's good. That's
but
good.
People had faith in it.
Yeah.
And now it has grown and grown. And now we've got you.
Right, right. Well, that's something. That's something.
Yeah, so it has been a 6-year process for me.
Wow.
To get us to this point. And now we've been on the air just a little over a year.
Wow. So would you say then that one of your big family goals was to always have your own radio station? Was that like a big long-term vision?
It wasn't necessarily a big long-term vision until we came here. It was always one to work in the business.
Yeah.
Because I never really thought that I could ever have my own radio station.
Wow.
But what is interesting, this is a little family history. One of my dad's cousins, Don Barksdale, lived in Berkeley, California. And we used to always travel out there to Berkeley to visit the family out there.
Okay.
And Don was a big-time club owner. He used to bring in all of the up-and-coming artists that eventually became very, very, very big artists at the time, okay? But he would bring them into his club, and we would go out and visit him, and I used to think this was the coolest man ever. He was one of the first blacks to ever play in the National Basketball League.
Really?
You know, back in the 50s.
Wow.
So he just, to me, just really had it going on. And just actually a few years ago, I was talking to his widow, and she said to me, she says, that is interesting that you have a radio station. She said, you know, your cousin Don owned a radio station out here in Berkeley. I was like, what? I had no idea that he owned a radio station.
It's amazing.
So I guess it's just
it's in the blood.
In the blood.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was interesting bit of family trivia. And now I have my grandson working here in the station. He helps to program the station.
Oh, nice.
And his background now is he's a producer. He produces his own music and everything. He's up on Spotify. Shout out to Chase Sanchez.
Yeah.
You know, but again, you know, it's being able to bring the family along.
Absolutely.
And to be able to provide them with the platform for what they're doing. I've even brought my 3-year-old granddaughter in, and she's done a promo and a tag.
Oh yeah, that's great. That's great. So she's able to start living her life a little on air. That's awesome.
That's right. We cannot even pass by here, and she says, gotta go to the radio station. Radio station.
When does she get her own show?
And please, let's not. No.
Hey,
she's enough to handle as it is. Don't make her a diva.
Yeah. Well, maybe she'd be great with her own show. Who knows?
I think she would.
It's
She's 4, and
I'm sure she has a lot to say.
yeah.
Oh,
Anybody that has a 4-year-old knows they have a lot to say.
Absolutely. So, who all out of your family is involved in the radio station in some way, shape, or form?
My daughter has helped me with the website.
Okay, great.
And social media.
Yeah.
And then Che comes in. Actually, Che designed our logo.
No
when
kidding.
he was 14, 15 years old.
Really?
Yeah, so
Wow.
he designed our logo, and now he comes in and he helps to program the station. He helps to also produce the shows and do post-production work on it, so he really loves that type of thing. He's getting to meet all the people that come in and out, especially on the weekends is when he works. And, he has his other job, he works in the restaurant, one of the finer restaurants here in Webster, though. But the thing is that, his love is of the business. And he just wasn't going to have an opportunity because the business has really changed since I came into it. It used to be that all the stations were owned individually. When I was working, I worked for KEZK, KYKY, KSD. I worked for Channel 4, KMOV. Now we look at these stations and they're all part of conglomerates.
Yeah.
So you don't have the same amount of flexibility, nor do you have the same number of opportunities for people to come in, for people to do training, have internship programs.
Yeah.
And again, by us being in a top 20 market, most people don't realize when they go to school in these markets and they graduate with a degree in broadcasting, they think they're going to start in this market. Not. You now need to go to Cairo, Illinois, Peoria, little small communities, and you cut your feet, not
cut your teeth.
Cut your teeth.
Right.
Cut your teeth.
Get your feet wet. Cut your teeth.
That's right. One of those things.
Right.
But you may go to Springfield. You may go to Cape Girardeau. You may start and then you work your way up.
Yeah.
Into these larger markets.
Yeah.
I was fortunate in that I graduated from San Francisco State. And then I did an internship that was actually housed inside of an ABC television station. And I just wandered around when I was on break and saw everybody and got to know them. And back then, it really was who you knew versus what you knew. And when an opening came for production, they asked me, would you like to be the help on the production? And I was like, yeah. So my first job in the business, I worked for KGO-TV in San Francisco. I was the telephone girl for one of the...
So what you mean by telephone girl, though, is that somebody would call in for the show and you screen them?
That's it.
Oh, okay.
And let me tell you, that was an eye-opener.
Oh, really?
Because people would call up. It was a community affairs show. It was a 3-hour community affairs show on a Saturday morning in San Francisco. And we talked about a lot of issues, especially back then when I was back there, back in the 70s. There were all kind of issues happening. And people were, they would call up and they were raging. And they would just rant and they'd rave and they'd scream and they'd yell and they'd curse. And I'd have to be very calm. Okay, sir, well, I'll determine whether or not you go on the air. Click, put you on hold, And if they were on hold for too long, they'd hang up, they'd call back. And then they would curse me out because I didn't have them on the air.
Man.
Okay, well, click.
All right, sir, I'll try again.
Yeah, exactly.
Put you on hold.
And then I would hold up the card for the on-air person to let them know which line they needed to pick up in order to answer the call. So that was my first job in the business. And I tell you, I met everybody because out in San Francisco, we had big name guests on.
Yeah.
Because we were like the top 3 market. So being backstage, I got to meet everybody. Because I was the telephone girl, and they all wanted to be nice to the telephone girl. See, back then they were girls, we were boys, we were, you could sit at your desk, you could smoke, you could curse each other out, you could drink, you could do everything back then. You can't do anything. They took the fun out of this business.
Yeah, well, I think we all watched WKRP in Cincinnati,
well,
right? So, I mean, things were a little bit different.
It was very different back then. But those shows, I'm telling you, that was what it was like. I mean, I can tell you, people really did. We would have parties. We would have, maybe when I was in sales, we would have a big sale, and the sales manager was like, okay, everybody, come on in the office. And we'd come in the office, we'd open up some wine, some beer, and sit and drink and have a good time, and, sing. Our big song when I worked at one station was Queen. We would sing, "We Are the Champions."
Yeah.
And do you know, I still run into some of my coworkers today, and we just crack up about that, and we all sing, "We Are the Champions" together. It just hasn't gone away. It's just the greatest time then.
Oh, man.
So I still have I try to have a lot of fun here. I give the guys, not wine, they get coffee.
Well, we get coffee, but...
And water.
Yeah, coffee and water.
That's right, exactly.
It's a good time, yeah. So, ultimately, what's the big vision for the future of the radio station, and where do you want to take it, and how does that tie into the success that you see for your family and personally?
The more I can have a platform for people like you, for people like Dr. Nick, for people like Amanda, for people like Greg and Robin, and people that come in and do these shows, that to me is my vision, because where else can you go and do this? The stations are shutting down, they're automating, they're doing all these things. They don't offer the same opportunities. But the small business person is the backbone of our country.
Absolutely.
And too often it costs too much to advertise in the newspapers and on other radio stations.
Right.
So to be able to be hyper-targeted is really a good thing for businesses. They can afford to be on the air. They can afford to reach their community. They can show and provide education for their community, which sets them up as the expert, which hopefully then allows them to become the go-to person when that person has a service or a need.
Yeah.
But with technology today, we're able to provide a platform that gives you the quality recording that you need, that you can then take and put on your podcast and things like that helps you to expand.
Yeah. So you're in this to empower other people,
Absolutely.
Empower people in the community, be able to help grow their businesses.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I am a senior citizen. That's the thing I look at. I am a senior citizen. I am a retired person.
Okay.
But I gained so much knowledge from being in the business. And to be able to share that knowledge with others, why should I go to my grave with all of this information in my head?
Absolutely.
When they come to my funeral, they're going to look at that tombstone. It's going to say, in here is an empty shell, because she gave all her knowledge away.
That's good.
That's the way it's supposed to be. I shouldn't go to my grave with it in here, knowing, having experience and all that. Give it away to the next person, the next generation, the next group.
Yeah.
Because there is power in radio.
Absolutely. Well, I love that general principle for leadership, though. Giving it all away.
Give it all away.
Right? Being an empty vessel, that you've given it all away.
Give it all away.
Sometimes, so often we get caught up in just trying to kind of hold our place, and trying to show everybody else what we know, and we want to try to protect ourselves. But there is a huge principle in equipping other people that we lead and that we have influence in our lives, and just giving them all the knowledge that we can to help them to succeed and flourish.
Right, and then you pass it on to the next group of people, and the next group of people, and down the road, people look back and they say, "Where'd that start?"
Yeah.
And you can say, "Well, it started in that little bitty studio at 111 East Waymire."
Right.
With
down
a
in the
table
basement.
that if you banged on it, it would reverb.
Right. It has helped me, though. I used to have the speaking issue whenever I was sitting at a table where I would bang my hand on it. So it's helped me with that. So that's good. The whole reverb thing.
That's right.
So
And there are people that, for instance, I think about Rebecca Now, who is in Toastmasters, and she has the What's Up with Business. And I've listened to her shows now. She's been on the air all year long. And I'm saying to her, wow, you are so smooth now. So, the things that she wants to do in Toastmasters, she's able to come and bring those same skills right here and be able to introduce business people. I listen to you now compared to when you first came on the air.
Oh, thank you.
And it is just, you are just like smooth like silk now.
Oh,
and it's
yeah.
the ability that every week you know that you need to do certain things to prepare yourself for this show.
Yeah.
You got to get your guest.
Yeah.
You got to have a theme.
Yeah.
You came in with your music. You prepare yourself.
Yeah.
You have to be here on time. You do those things, and that's all a part of you developing who Matt is.
Right. As I guess a radio and podcast personality.
Guru. That's right. I'm into helping producing divas and gurus.
Divas and gurus. That's awesome.
We even have one girl. She calls herself Kiba the Diva.
Yeah. I hope I don't never go over the diva side. It seems like that could be going astray. But
it could be. But there's nothing wrong with being a guru.
Right.
Because there's somebody that's going to say to you at some point, Matt, how do you do what you do?
Yeah. Well, absolutely. I mean, it's definitely been a personal journey for me, just learning and growing with this experience. I mean, this whole podcast was, a radio show was kind of just started off with the idea of doing a podcast.
Yeah.
It was just kind of a passion project, and it just falling into being on the radio and kind of into this opportunity to put it on the radio has been kind of, everybody's always, said I should be on the radio because
your voice is
I've got
great.
the face for it.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I guess maybe that's what they meant. I don't
No,
know.
your voice is like, the moment I heard your voice, it was like, that guy needs to be on.
Well,
and I like the way that you divide your show with the working for moms and the working for dads.
Yeah, well, thank
because
you.
we're able to actually, again, hyper target within a hyper target.
Right,
and we can set the show apart, and then we run half an hour in the week just for moms.
Yeah.
And we have it set up so that it comes on at a time when we know moms are going to be tuning in. And then you have the dads. It's on at a different time of the week. And that type of actually looking at demographics and letting it work for you.
Yeah.
That's the key thing. A lot of times we throw stuff out there. People that are doing podcasts, they don't really know about the demographics. When are people listening? How are they listening? What are their listening patterns? Where are they listening?
Yeah.
And, so they can spend a lot of time and hopefully not too much money trying to learn that.
Right.
But then they have to have the equipment.
Right.
They have to go out and buy the equipment and the microphones and do all those kinds of things, learn how to edit.
Yeah.
Well, we provide you with those types of, platforms so that you don't have to do all of that. You can just worry about getting your guests and getting here on time.
Absolutely. So if somebody, how would you suggest somebody kind of go about trying to develop the idea of like a radio show or a podcast or some sort of content? Like what kind of process would you suggest they kind of go through?
I'd say look at what your passion is.
Okay.
Because that is what each one of our guests and our producers has done. We look at what their real interest, where it lies.
Yeah.
For instance, like Amanda, her interest lies in health and helping people be healthy through organic foods, nutrition, things like that.
Absolutely.
Dr. Nick believes in health of the spine.
Yeah.
And he talks about that, and he helps people to understand that it's the spine that provides all of the sense of health. And if your spine is out of a line, your health is going to be out of a line.
Yeah,
You are business. You look at, from a very unique standpoint, how does a working mom juggle her career? How does a working dad, how do they now not get caught up in that trap of working so much to make a living that they no longer have life?
Yeah.
We've got another group, their whole passion is promoting family relationships, promoting healthy marriages.
Right.
Everybody comes on with their passion. And so the passion has to be not about making money, but the knowledge that you want to share with someone else. Like I say, when you give them the knowledge, the money will come.
Absolutely.
But if you go out there wanting to become a millionaire right off the top, then it's like it comes through that you're not genuinely wanting to help people. You're looking to serve yourself.
Right.
But when you open yourself up to the world, to the community, and you say, I'm giving you me.
Yeah.
Then if you're giving them quality material information, thoughts, feelings, concepts, it will come.
So if it comes from a place of service, you're saying that the rest will come.
Absolutely.
Okay.
It is so biblical, and I use that not from the Bible, but biblical in an understanding way.
Okay.
That when you give, you receive.
Yes.
You know, it's part of,
game.
that's right. It's all a part of how life evolves.
Right.
You know, and when we look at it, and I kind of go back to this one movie I always think of, Being There, where this guy, all he had was knowledge, but he got it from television. And so he only knew a certain amount of stuff, because then after a while they went to a commercial break. Well, we're filling in the commercial break part of it.
Right.
And saying, this is what we know.
Absolutely.
And if you can do this, this is going to help you in your life, in your family, in your world.
Right.
And people resonate with that.
Absolutely. So if people would like to know some more information about how to get involved, do maybe their own radio show or something like that, how would they do that?
They can call us right here at KWRHLP Radio, and they can call me 314-397-7750.
Thank you. This has been Matt Barbie with Business Time for Success, Business Owner Moms Edition. If you want more information about how to grow a business to give you and your family the life you always dreamed of, give me a call, 314-441-5423. Woo! All right. Thanks, everybody, for watching.